G'day folks, it's Dragging Aussie Survival in conjunction with Survival HQ. This is just a continuation of the DIY forge knives, the YouTube video I made earlier this year. Finally got around to putting some handles on the tang of the knife. The wood, we're using wood ones, and I'm over at a friend's place, Warren, who's got the right skills and certainly the right tools to do the finer points. With me, I'm out in the bush. I'll stick anything together with baling twine, wire, anything I can find like that. But when it comes down to finer woodwork like this, yeah, I just don't have the skills or the tools for it. So he's offered to help me out, and I'm certainly learning a lot. Now this timber here is a hardwood, very hard. And it was actually salvaged off a fence paling that was being pulled down in a small town near me. And I've got to tell you, this hardwood fence paling is older than I am. It's back in the days when I used to use wire just to weave in and out of the tops and bottoms to hold them together. You can see the condition over the years. It's still very good wood, very solid. So Warren has kindly donated his time and his tools, and certainly taught me a lot. And we're just doing the final touch-ups now on one hand. It's a split handle. This one still needs a bit more work on it. It's got a special bench machine over there that's excellent for it. One thing we did was I was over here a week or so ago, was how we're going to fasten the handles to the tang of the knife. Now, one of the things that concerned me was, and yes, you can use brass rivets and copper rivets and that sort of thing, there's nothing wrong with that. But we had to sit down and had a talk about it, and we decided, well, we'll use stainless steel screws. In the event that the knife handle is damaged, cracked or whatever, or the particular type of steel, this steel rusts very quickly. If you looked at the DIY jobs video on this one, if you've got a rust build up in there, which can happen if it's not sealed properly due to wet weather, moisture and that sort of thing, then you can take the two handle knives off as separate pieces and clean up the tang and treat the rust. So what Warren did, because he had the special tools to do it, bear in mind that the tang is also tempered, did a metal tap, and we decided to go with these oops, drop that one, stainless steel screws, hex head screws, so that if we need to take the handle off, it's much easier to do that way with a hex key than trying to drill out rivets, brass, copper, whatever other type of fastening system you might want to use. So this is coming up very well. He's taped the blade there so he doesn't cut himself. That was roughly sharpened before it was tempered. That's just to protect him while he's working on it. And this is one side of it, and it's come up very well. He's got specialised tools for doing this, and all we're going to do is just touch up the other side. I originally stenciled these out of this piece of wood with a jigsaw, so that's where we're going. So this is the other blade that I've given Warren for him to keep, so he can put his type of handle on it, and see how we go. Alright, back soon folks. Okay folks, I'm at Warren's place, and I'm probably learning more than I'm helping him how to make these knife scabbards or sheaths and the handles for them. This one here is an old sheath for this knife here, one of my old bush knives. This one was originally made out of the vinyl salvaged out of the inside of a vehicle, and as you can see, it's copped a fair beating in the bush. I've had it for about 5 years, and it's been glued and stitched and stapled and so on. So Warren, with the aid of his skills and a special sewing machine, made up this scabbard for it. It's made from peeled leather, it's called. He's got a special sewing machine that does all the stitching around here, across the top. It's on it, the hanger or the loop will fit a 2-inch belt, which is about the size I wear. That's in width, not around the waist. I'm not that skinny. And also he's put plastic blue insert in there, and just show you, it's something like that. It's what it is. It's actually one of those flexible cutting boards you use in the kitchen. Very flexible stuff. As an insert in there to protect the blade and to stiffen it up a bit. So Warren's sewing machine will actually stitch this. It's a special sewing machine used for stitching, heavy stitching. So it actually does stitch through that plastic, as was the case in this one here. And the type of cotton we're using, Warren, it's
Serafel.
Serafel. It's all weatherproof.
Yeah, UV resistant.
UV resistant, yep. And down the bottom here, and I think I can't remember which forum member it was, they made a sheath. Apologies for that, but they brought up a good point. A lot of knife sheaths or scabbards don't have a drain hole on the bottom, so if you're out in the open and you start to fill up with water and things, a lot of knife scabbards don't have this drain hole on the bottom to allow the water to come out and not sit inside your scabbard, doing damage to your blade or indeed the scabbard material itself, depending on what it is. So that's the comparison. That's the old bush one. She's had a lot of years of service, but this is one that Warren made up for me. Very skilled, and this is much better, much stronger, and certainly much more weather resistant. So we're currently making up a scabbard for this one. That's the handles being done on that. With Warren's workshop machinery here, was able to do an excellent job on it, and of course his woodworking skills. It's planets away from mine, so but it's really good. This is the hardwood. The hex head screws, as I mentioned before, we had talk about it a week or two ago, to actually thread it into the tang of the knife, so that if we need to take the handles off, if they're damaged or if we have a rust problem in there, it's quite easy to unscrew them and deal with, sort out the problem. They're a little bit offset, but that doesn't matter. It makes no difference to the handling of the knife at all. So we're just making up a scabbard of this one. Now, the wood treatment on this, Warren painted it with initially with shellac, and then the other was help me out here, Warren.
Just a quality furniture wax.
Quality furniture wax.
It's got a bit of citrus in it.
Yep. And that makes it a bit more durable, weatherproof, and it's brought out the grain in this wood too. It looks really great. It certainly does. And that's a hardwood handle from that fence paling. It's probably older than I am. So so now we're just making up the scabbard for this one.
Doing a mock-up first.
Doing a mock-up,
Mock-up first, just out of a bit of old curtain material.
Yep.
So mock up the pouch for it. We've got a fold here, and the idea of the fold is that when you have the insert, that actually folds inside the insert, so the knife doesn't catch going in or out. and that'll get stitched up on the machine up to about there, because the knife gets quite bulky around the handle, so you need to be able to balloon that out a bit.
Okay.
We'll end up cutting this out of leather but stitching around, prior to that stitching a belt loop holder on, and also the bit that holds the knife, like we've got here. It holds a knife on there. Yeah,
and on this one we're going with double thickness leather.
Yeah.
Because of the weight of the knife. This will be the where the crease is, where it sits on the belt. So we've gone double thickness there, just to give it more strength and durability on the tension point where it sits on the belt. And this flap that Warren was talking about, this actually folds inside and holds this plastic insert in place, so when you pull the knife out, it doesn't pull this out with it. And also with this double flap here that folds inside, it holds the knife in a very snug position inside the scabbard, so it doesn't rattle around and that sort of thing, and helps to prevent it from slipping out of the scabbard.
To help keep the fold in there, what we did on this one, I don't know whether you can see, we stitched down about 3mm from the top here, right across the top.
Yep.
Stitched that first and then did the fold. So once it's all together, what you can do is unfold it and then slip your pouch into it.
That's it, yep.
And then fold it back down over the pouch. That way if this does wear out, you can pop another one in and
yep.
your holster still. Yep.
That's good. Yep. That's what Warren's done on that one. Yep. I'll try and pull it out actually.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit hard getting the blue thing out. It's a little bit hard going in.
Even if we just show that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It will come out with a bit of fiddling. You don't want it loose in there obviously, so it was nice and snug going in, but it will come out if you,
yep.
with a bit of patience, a little bit of work.
You can see just the top of the blue there, and that flap folds over the top on the inside, so it stops it. Stops the blue thing from coming out with the knife. You pull it out,
yeah.
And also this idea here, it's a nice snug fit around the knife handle here, so it stops it from rattling around. And very good. Yep, that's great. Alrighty. Okay, folks. We're still moving along here, so back soon. Well, folks, this is the finished product of the bush knife. Warren's just made the scabbard for it. Yes, we did use an industrial sewing machine. But it's a very strong scabbard. It's weatherproof stitching on it, as we talked about before. The drain hole on the bottom to allow any water to drain out in wet weather. And this is very solid. It's good. Large hanger there. I used a 2-inch canvas bush belt, and so there's plenty of room there. And we used a stiffer part of the offcut of the peeled leather, just to give it a bit more strength, because it is a rather heavy knife. And Warren also, as we did with the that scabbard, is we put a fold over in the top with a plastic insert, and if there's a problem with the plastic insert, it's quite easy to pull it out and replace it or repair it. The plastic insert along this stitched edge here is actually stitched by the industrial sewing machine, so it's done in such a way that with the blade sits up against it, it's not going to cut the stitching at all. It's just the type of plastic that Warren decided to use and the way the machine stitched it. So it's a very solid sheath, hard wearing. It's not too flexible, and it's not too stiff. bearing in mind, as I said, that this knife is a much heavier knife, and of course the scabbard has to be made accordingly. You don't want something that's too flimsy. This is the finished knife, and it's great. It's a beautiful knife. I really love it. In fact, I like it better than the original knife that we stenciled this off. It's come up very, very well, and it's got a good edge on it. We did a bit of honing on the edge, and the thing now is to look after it, keep the wooden handle well waxed and oiled so it doesn't split, and of course keep an eye on any rust problems. It's going to have to be well oiled due to the nature of the steel, and treat the tang inside too, so if we get any moisture in there, we don't get the blistering effect of rust build up in there, causing problems with the wooden handle cracking or splitting over a given time period. So let's see if I can fit this in here one-handed. Goes in there like that. And that's it. That's a very snug fit. It's not going to rattle around, it's not going to move around. It's very snug. And don't know if I can do this up one-handed. Try it. And that's it. That's the finished product. So that looks great. Beautiful. Very pleased with that, and my sincere thanks to Warren for doing this for me. He certainly had the right tools and the skills to do it, and I've learned a lot just watching him do it, helping him out in whatever way I can, which wasn't much, but no, learned a lot. So there it is, folks. That's the end product of the DIY char forged knife blade video I made. I think it was early this year, something like that. Anyway, that's the end result of it. Looks great, love it. And that's just a new scabbard for one of my old bush knives, after this one's going to go into retirement. Served me well, but she's getting to the point where she's starting to wear out quite a bit. So that's about it, folks. I'll wrap this up. Great job, Warren. Thanks very much. Learned a lot. And thanks to his skill, and yes, we did use modern tools to put this together. And it's turned out a very good job. I really like it. Alright, see you later, folks.